My friends, welcome back to another story that's absolutely going to blow your mind. Because today, I'm exposing the family vacation that didn't just go wrong. It exposed my entire double life in broad daylight. Yeah, one innocent question, one poorly timed text message, and boom, the version of me my family thought they knew collided with the version I'd been hiding like a federal crime. And trust me, the explosion was loud. But oh, don't worry, it gets worse. Because this dream vacation turned into a psychological hostage situation where every secret I'd buried decided to rise from the dead like a zombie with a megaphone. So buckle up, my friends. Grab a snack. Silence your phone unless you want to relate way too hard to what's about to happen. And hey, before we dive deeper into this disaster, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this with someone who has nothing to hide, because we both know they absolutely do. All right, let's ruin a family vacation together. My friends, pull up a chair, grab a snack, silence your phone, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of story that makes you rethink every decision you've ever made while staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Welcome to the vacation that didn't just ruin my week. It detonated my double life. And yes, I said double life. Not a cute little secret, not a situationship, not a tiny lie. No. A double life, capital D, capital L, written in bold and underlined. But before we get into the explosion, let me set the scene for you. Picture this, a picture-perfect beach resort. Clean towels, sparkling pools, kids screaming joyfully or demonically, depending on your attitude toward children, palm trees swaying like they're in a commercial for overpriced sunscreen. And then picture my family, the most energetic, over-coordinated, aggressively wholesome group of people in the country, marching through the lobby, wearing matching shirts that said, "Family vacation, making memories since forever." Yeah, I wanted to walk 5 feet behind them pretending I didn't know them. But I didn't. Because I was supposed to be the responsible daughter. Keyword supposed. We checked in, and immediately my mom was vibrating with joy like she was running on espresso and pure sunshine. My dad was already giving unsolicited small talk to strangers. My brother was taking selfies like he was live streaming for an audience of millions. He wasn't. He has 74 followers, 2 of which are bots. And me? I was carrying a secret that could break the sound barrier if I ever accidentally dropped it. Because, my friends, I wasn't just living one life. I had another one. A hidden one. A very passionately complicated one. His name? Let's call him Nate. Obviously not his real name, please. I'm reckless, not stupid. Nate was the fire to my lighter fluid. The unexpected storm in my quiet little weather forecast. The reason I checked my phone like it was a baby monitor. And no, my family had no idea he existed. Not even a clue. So as we walked toward our room, my stomach was doing Olympic gymnastics. Because if there's something I've learned, it's this. Secrets love 2 things: vacations and bad timing. We got to the room, ocean view. 2 beds, 1 sofa, 0 privacy, and I knew I was in trouble. There was nowhere to hide. No alone time. No sneaking around. Just my family. And me. And my phone. And Nate, who did not understand the meaning of "let's talk later." That first night should have been relaxing. But I spent every second pretending I was totally chill while checking my phone like a paranoid spy waiting for coded messages. Every vibration felt like a warning siren. Every notification felt like a ticking countdown. At one point my mom said, "You're awfully jumpy, honey. Are you okay?" I told her I was just tired, which was technically true. Lying is exhausting. But the real storm started the next morning at breakfast. We were sitting by the pool. Everyone happy and relaxed, except me sweating like I had just robbed a bank. My phone was face down on the table because, of course, that's the universal sign of him hiding something suspicious. Please ask me about it. And then it happened. That sound. The vibration. Long, loud. Sharp. Everyone looked at my phone. I looked at the sky like maybe God would descend and save me. My dad said, "Someone's eager to talk to you." And I laughed nervously like a raccoon caught stealing trash. My friends, the message preview lit up just enough for me to see it. And it said, "Good morning, beautiful. Wish I woke up next to you." I swear I felt my soul leave my body, turn around, slap me, and return. I flipped the phone face down so fast I almost cracked the screen. My mom raised an eyebrow, the mom eyebrow, the one that means she's storing a suspicion in her mental file cabinet. "Oh," she said, taking a sip of orange juice. "A special someone?" I nearly choked on my own breath. "No, it's a spam." "Spam." I said spam. Because, spam wakes up wishing it was next to you. She narrowed her eyes. And my brother, oh, my annoying, nosy brother smirked like he had just discovered the plot twist in a crime documentary. The tension grew like a balloon stretching. And then my phone vibrated again. This time I snatched it off the table like a wild animal protecting prey. "Wow," my brother said, snickering. "Real productive spam you got there." My mom stared at me with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. My dad? He just kept eating bacon, completely unaware that the foundation of his family was seconds away from collapsing. And me? My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. I excused myself, grabbed my phone, ran to the hallway near the restrooms, and finally looked at the message. It was Nate again, obviously. This time he wrote, "5 hours without you, and I'm dying. Send a picture?" My friends, I nearly dropped that phone into the pool. I wanted to crawl inside a coconut and live there forever. Because this was the first crack in the wall I had built. The crack that let everything else burst through. And deep down, I knew this vacation was not going to end quietly. It was going to burn. And I was about to get scorched. I stood in that hallway gripping my phone like it was a live grenade. My heart was slamming against my ribs, my brain was rapidly filing through excuses, and my dignity packed its bags and jumped off the balcony. I typed back to Nate. "I'm with my family. I can't text nonstop right now." Of course, he didn't understand family time. He barely understood privacy. He was one of those men who thought the world paused when he wanted attention. So he replied immediately, "Come on, babe. Don't make me miss you alone." My friends, why are men like this? Why? I shoved my phone into my pocket and walked back to the table, praying to every ancestor that my family would magically forget I existed. Nope. They all turned and stared at me the exact way judges look at contestants on a talent show right before saying it's a no for me. My mom asked, "Everything okay?" I smiled like a malfunctioning robot. "Totally. Just bathroom. Stuff." My brother snorted. Nothing good ever follows a sibling snort. My dad didn't even look up from his plate. Bless him. He was the only one preventing this situation from turning into a live episode of CSI Family Edition. We finished breakfast, but the damage was done. Suspicion had entered the group chat. And my mom, God bless her investigative spirit, started watching me like a hawk with Wi-Fi connection. Later that afternoon, we headed to the beach. Everyone was excited, except me. I was busy trying not to have a public breakdown next to a sandcastle. We set up towels, umbrellas, the whole were a happy, functional family aesthetic. My mom was reading a romance novel. My dad was trying to figure out how sunscreen worked every year, he forgets. My brother was taking shirtless selfies like a bootleg influencer. I sat in my chair, staring at the waves, telling myself to breathe and look normal. But then, there it was. BZZZZ. My phone lit up in my bag like a glowing beacon of doom. I froze. My mom glanced over. My bag buzzed again. My mom raised an eyebrow. Third buzz. My mother slowly set down her book and said, "Sweetie." I panicked internally. Externally, I tried to smile. "Work," I said too quickly. "Yep. Work stuff." She tilted her head. "On vacation?" I nodded aggressively. "Corporate life, Even though I absolutely do not know corporate life. I barely understand my own taxes. But then, because the universe loves irony, my phone buzzed again, so violently that my entire beach bag trembled like it was possessed. My mom stared at it, then at me, then at it again. "Maybe you should check that," she said. My friends, I wanted to dive into the ocean and let the waves carry me away into a new identity. Instead, I grabbed the bag, opened it just enough so only I could see the screen, and peeked. And there it was.
A selfie from Nate.
Shirtless, sweaty, flexing, smiling like he was auditioning for a protein powder commercial. The caption? Wish you were lying right here on me instead of with your family. I swear the sun got hotter just to embarrass me further. My brain delete. My hand drops phone onto sand. My mom gasped. Not because of the photo, she didn't see it, but because I reacted like I'd been electrocuted. What was that? My mom asked, leaning forward. A sand crab. I lied. Why did I say that? Crabs don't text you inappropriate selfies. I was losing it, my friends. Actually losing it. My brother, of course, snorted again. I swear, you're being weird. Weird? Honey, I was being weird, suspicious, shady, twitchy, panicked, chaotic, the whole buffet of bad behaviors. My dad finally looked up and said, You know, if something's going on, you can just tell us. Oh, really, Dad? Can I tell you that your daughter's living a double life and her secret lover is sexting her on a family beach day?
No.
No, I cannot. So I said the only thing I could. There's nothing going on.
Lie.
Lie of the century. Lie so obvious it deserved an Oscar for worst acting. But somehow, they let it go for a moment. We eventually got up to walk along the water, and for 10 blessed minutes, I felt peace. Real peace. Like, maybe I could pretend my life wasn't a televised disaster. And then, my brother stole my beach bag. Oh, let me carry this, he said. My soul left my body.
No.
I screamed too loudly, too dramatically. Everyone turned. My mom's eyes narrowed again. My brother blinked. Jesus, I was just trying to help. I sucked in a breath. No, it's fine. I like carrying it. It's therapeutic. My dad blinked slowly.
I think you need a nap.
He was right. I needed a nap. And a new identity. And maybe witness protection. We went back to the chairs, and I told myself, stop checking your phone. Ignore him. Survive the day. But Nate? He had the emotional intelligence of a wet sponge. So he kept texting. And texting. And texting. And then he called. Actually called. My brother saw the screen light up. Saw the name. Saw the photo ID. Saw the heart emoji next to it. He shouted, Who's Nate? My friends. In that moment, every cell in my body died. I flatlined. I spiritually evaporated. My mom turned to me like she had just spotted a criminal. My dad stood up like someone had challenged him to a duel, and I held the phone like it was burning my skin. My double life wasn't cracking anymore. It was splitting wide open. And this was only the beginning of the unraveling. My brother stood there pointing at my phone like he had just exposed a national conspiracy. Who's Nate? Every molecule in the atmosphere froze. Birds stopped mid-flight. Children paused mid-scream. Even the ocean pulled back like, oh honey, you're on your own. My mom slowly turned her head toward me, eyes wide, mouth slightly open, book dropping from her hand like she was living in slow motion. Nate? She repeated. And my dad? My dad stood up like he was about to go confront the entire male population named Nate. I swallowed air. My brain attempted a shutdown. I considered throwing the phone into the ocean, claiming it had been possessed by the devil, adopting a new name, and rebuilding my life among crabs. But no, I froze. Paralyzed. Useless. My brother, of course, made everything worse by yelling, Dad, some dude is calling her babe. My soul left the country at that point. My phone buzzed in my hand, screen bright and impossible to hide. Nate calling. If there had been a trapdoor under my feet, I would have gone through it willingly. My mom whispered, Answer it. No, I said, panicking. Answer. IT. She repeated louder. My dad crossed his arms. He didn't say anything, which was somehow so much worse. My brother sat down, grabbed popcorn from God knows where, and grinned like he bought front row tickets to my downfall. The phone kept buzzing. And buzzing. I couldn't breathe. Finally, I hit decline. My mom's eyes narrowed even more. You're going to explain, she said. It's complicated, I stammered. Oh, that's never good, my brother muttered. My dad sat back down slowly, like a judge preparing to announce a sentence.
Start talking, he said.
And there it was. The moment the curtain ripped open. The moment the actors broke character. The moment the secret spilled across the table like an overturned drink. I did what any terrified, overwhelmed person with a collapsing double life would do. I tried to lie. It's not what you think, I said. Spoiler alert. It was exactly what they thought. My mom folded her arms. Then what is it? He's just a friend. A friend. My friends, I said friend. While my phone was still buzzing with romantic notifications. My mom's eyebrow rose so high it nearly detached from her face. A friend?
She asked. Yes.
My brother cackled. Bro, he literally called you babe. I glared at him. He raised his hands like, hey, I'm just reporting the facts. My dad leaned forward. How long has this been going on? My stomach dropped. My throat dried out. My palms started sweating so much I could water a small plant. Not long, I lied again. How long? My dad repeated. Here's the thing about dads. They say your name softly when you're a kid. They say it loudly when you're in trouble. But when they say nothing,
run.
A few weeks? I said, hoping the lie sounded semi-believable. My mom blinked.
Slowly.
Suspiciously. Then why does he have a heart next to his name? My friends. I wanted to jump into the sun. My brother snorted again. He was absolutely thriving. My phone buzzed. Again. This time it was a text. Why aren't you picking up? Everything okay, baby? Baby. He used baby. Oh God. My mom saw me flinch. She extended her hand. Give me the phone. No, I said, not bravely, but like a child refusing vegetables. Hand it over, she repeated. I hid the phone behind me like a toddler hiding a stolen cookie. Sweetie, she said, if you don't give it to me, your father will take it. My dad nodded slowly, like a bouncer at a nightclub. I sighed. Defeat washed over me. I handed her the phone. She looked at the message. Her jaw dropped. Oh my God, she whispered. My dad grabbed the phone and read it too. His face changed colors like a mood ring. Confusion. Shock.
Rage.
Disappointment. Disappointment, the worst kind. Then he looked at me, eyes sharp. This is not a friend. I know, I whispered. So who is he? He demanded. And right there, right on that beach, with families playing frisbee behind us, with children building sandcastles, with seagulls squawking dramatically in the background. I cracked. He's someone I've been seeing. My mom gasped. My brother whispered no way, like it was a plot twist in a Netflix series. My dad stood up again, more aggressively this time.
Seeing? He said.
As in dating? I nodded. And for how long? I froze. Because the real number? It wasn't a few weeks.
It was.
Longer. Much longer. My silence told him everything. My mom covered her mouth. My dad shook his head. You've been hiding this from us? He asked. My throat closed. I couldn't speak. But they all understood anyway. I wasn't living a normal, simple life. I was juggling two realities like a clown with emotional issues. And everything I tried to hide was now out in the sun, burning like a rash. My mom whispered, I don't even know who you are right now. And that, my friends, that line cut deeper than anything else. The tears came hard and fast. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't strong. I was unraveling. Right there. On vacation. On a beach chair. In front of the people I loved most. And the worst part? Nate wasn't done. Because just when I thought it couldn't get worse, he sent a picture. Not a selfie. A picture. A picture that absolutely no family should ever see. My mom saw the preview and screamed. My dad nearly threw the phone into the ocean. My brother fell off his chair laughing hysterically. And me?
I wanted to dissolve into sand.
That was it.
The moment the universe said,
time's up. Your double life is officially dead. There are bad moments. And then there is your secret lover sending an explicit photo to your phone while your family watches. My friends, I didn't just want the earth to swallow me whole. I wanted the earth to swallow me digest me, and politely erase my memory afterward. My mom threw the phone down on the beach towel like it had personally insulted her. My dad made a sound I've only heard once before, when he realized his favorite barbecue grill had rusted. My brother? Oh, he was having the time of his life. He fell back in the sand, laughing so hard he couldn't breathe, choking out something like, "This is the best vacation of my entire life." I, however, was about to faint. My mom pointed at the phone shaking, dramatic, devastated. What I asked that? I tried to speak, all that came out was some kind of emotional static. My dad picked up the phone with 2 fingers like it was a biohazard sample and handed it to me. "You," he growled, "will explain everything." People from nearby chairs were looking. Some were pretending not to stare. Some weren't pretending at all. A little kid walked by, saw the expression on my mother's face, and sprinted back to his parents like he had sensed danger. My friends, I wanted to throw myself into the nearest wave and let Poseidon decide my fate. My mom dragged all of us back to our beach tent, moving fast enough to qualify for the Olympics. We sat down. She crossed her arms and said, "Start talking." My dad crossed his arms. My brother took out his AirPods like this was a premium podcast episode. I opened my mouth. Nothing that I opened it again. Still nothing that finally I managed. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen," that my mom shot back. "People don't accidentally end up in secret relationships. And okay, she wasn't wrong that I took a deep breath, the kind you take before confessing something that will permanently alter your life. Define. I said, "It'll tell you everything." To my brother did a little clap, and my mom shot him a death glare. So I started telling the story, not the real story, not yet, but the soft version. "The truth is I met someone a while back." My mom squinted. "A while back means what?" "Last month, last week." Here was the first emotional landmine that I whispered, barely audible. "Longer? How much longer?" she insisted. I swallowed hard. "Months." My dad inhaled sharply. My mom gasped. My brother leaned forward like he was watching a cooking show and waiting to see if the cake collapses. "Months." My mom repeated. "You've been lying to us for months." My heart sank. My voice cracked. I didn't want to lie. It got complicated. My mom threw her hands up. "Of course it got complicated. You're sneaking around like a raccoon in the night. Anything gets complicated if you build it out of secrets." My dad stood up, then slowly, deliberately. You know those scenes in movies where the villain rises from the shadows? Yet that was my dad. He looked at me and said, "Are you seeing this person seriously?" I froze. This was the moment. The defining moment. I could lie again. Make it softer. Make it easier. But my double life had already exploded. The remains were everywhere. There was nothing left to protect. So I said the truth. Yes, my mom whispered, "Oh my God." My brother whispered, "Holy SHD." My dad whispered nothing, which was 1,000 times worse. At why, he finally said, "Didn't you just tell us?" And oh, my friends. That question cracked me wide open. I felt my eyes sting, my throat close, my chest tighten. "Because I didn't think you'd understand," I said. "Because I didn't want you to judge me. Because I didn't want to disappoint you. Because every time I wanted to say something, I got scared. Because part of me didn't even understand what I was doing." My voice broke. Tears spilled, real tears. Ugly crying. The kind where your face collapses. My mom's expression softened just a little. My dad looked hurt, but no longer furious. But then my brother chimed in with, "So she was lying on purpose." Got it. I threw a handful of sand at him. He dodged it like a ninja. My mom put a hand on my arm. "What exactly is your relationship with this Nate?" I wiped my face. "It's not casual. It never was." My dad took a deep breath. "So you're in love with him?" That question hit me in the stomach. I don't know. I said, honestly, I liked him a lot, maybe too much. I don't know what it is anymore. My mom looked at me, really looked at me, and her eyes softened. "You shouldn't have handled this alone," she said quietly, and that was it. That sentence shattered me, because that had been the truth all along. I was juggling 2 lives because I was terrified to share even one. My dad sat back down, firm, but no longer volcanic. "Okay," he said, "you've made mistakes, a lot of mistakes, but you're still our daughter." Was that forgiveness? Not exactly, but it was the first crack of light after a storm. Until my phone buzzed again. My mom flinched. My dad glared. My brother tried to snatch the phone out of my hand, and I grabbed it first. The message preview said, "Are we okay? Did your family calm down? Can I call?" My God. He thought this was a minor inconvenience, my dad said. Tell him it's over. My heart stopped and my mom nodded. It's the only way to fix this. My brother added, do it. Period. And my friends. There I was, standing between the life I was born into and the life I built in the dark, with both sides expecting me to make a choice. My throat tightened. My fingers shook. I stared at the message, and right then, I realized the truth. This wasn't about Nate. It wasn't about my parents. It wasn't about choosing one over the other. It was about choosing me, the me who had been drowning in secrecy, the me who couldn't breathe, the me who didn't know what she wanted. I closed the message, locked my phone, and said, I'm not choosing anything today. My dad blinked. My mom gasped. My brother nearly fell out of his chair again. Excuse me? My dad snapped. I need time. I said, I need to think. I need to understand myself before I make any decisions with him or with anyone. My mom stared. My dad stared. But neither spoke. I didn't wait for permission. I got up, walked away, and headed toward the water. I needed space. I needed air. I needed to not crumble on a beach towel in front of a family of 4 from Kansas, watching us like we were reality TV. And that's when I realized this vacation wasn't the end of my double life. It was the beginning of the truth. Walking away from my family on that beach felt like wading through thick water. Every step was heavy, not dramatic movie scene walking away heavy, but the kind where your legs feel hollow and your chest feels like a balloon about to burst. I walked until the shore got quieter, until the screaming kids and beach umbrellas blurred into distant background noise. Did I let the waves touch my feet? I breathed, but nothing inside me settled. My friends, I wasn't just overwhelmed, I was unraveling. After a long while, when my breathing returned to something vaguely human, I turned around and walked back to the tent area. My family was packing up, but not talking, not to each other, and not to me, just packing, and my mom's jaw was clenched. My dad's movements were stiff and controlled. My brother avoided eye contact, for once realizing the situation wasn't funny anymore. I approached cautiously. Are we going? I asked. My dad didn't say a word. He just nodded, and that, my friends, is how you know you've hit rock bottom in a Latin household. When your parents go from yelling to silence, silence is so much worse. Silence is disappointment wearing a black cloak. We walked back to the hotel through the heat, each of us drowning in our own thoughts, and the silent soundtrack, my phone buzzing in my hand, again and again. Nate. Hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? Talk to me, baby. I felt sick. Every buzz made my mom flinch. Every preview made my dad stiffen. Every vibration made my stomach twist like a wrung-out towel. We got to the room. My dad opened the door. Everyone walked in. I stayed at the threshold for a moment, staring at the carpet, trying not to explode into tears again. My mom turned around. Come inside. Not gentle, not harsh, just neutral. I stepped in. The door closed behind me, and the emotional earthquake officially began. The hotel room showdown. My dad sat down at the little table near the window, the one covered with brochures about kayak tours and cheesy romantic sunset dinner packages. The irony hurt. My mom paced. My brother lay face down on his bed like he regretted being born into our family. And then my dad said, "Sit." I sat on the edge of the other bed. He looked at me for a long moment, not angry, not yelling, just looking. That somehow made it worse. Finally, he said, "You've been lying to us for months." I swallowed hard. I didn't know how to tell you. My mom stopped pacing. You tell us by talking, she snapped. You tell us by trusting us. You tell us before it blows up on a beach in front of 50 strangers. I know, I whispered. My dad exhaled, exhausted. You didn't just hide a boyfriend. You built a whole other life behind our backs. Hearing him say it out loud made my chest tighten. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone, I said. You did hurt people, my mom shot back. You hurt us. And based on those messages, you hurt him too. Her pointing that out stunned me. Because she was right. My double life wasn't just hurting my family. It was strangling me and confusing him. I looked down. I'm sorry, I said quietly. My mom threw her hands up. We don't want apologies. We want honesty. I'm trying, I said. Try harder, she muttered. My dad leaned forward. You need to understand something. We're not angry because you met someone. We're angry because you shut us out of your life so completely that the only way we found out was through an accident. My throat closed. I whispered, I didn't think anyone would understand.
My mom's face softened barely.
Then you should have given us the chance. And then my brother opened his mouth. Because of course he did. He sat up and blurted. Just tell Mom and Dad the truth, you were seeing him and someone else, right? I whipped my head around. What? No, absolutely not. My mom gasped. My dad's eyes went wide. My brother shrugged. Well, I don't know. You're acting like you have 3 secret families. I do not. I snapped. My mom glared at my brother. Stop helping. He put his earbuds back in and pretended to meditate. The emotional floodgate. The yelling softened, then it softened again. And eventually my mom sat beside me on the bed. Her voice cracked a little when she said, You know, I thought we were close. That line went straight through my chest. I wiped my face. We are close. I just made a huge mistake. A lot of mistakes. My dad looked tired, really tired. What do you want? That question startled me. What do you mean? What do you want? He repeated. From the situation, from him, from us, from yourself. My eyes blurred with tears. I don't know. Then figure it out. He said firmly, but not by running from it. And not by juggling secrets. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. We all looked at it like it was a live explosive. My dad gestured at it. Turn it off. I hesitated. That's part of your problem, he said softly. Do you hesitate with him, but you hesitate with us too. That hurt, because it was painfully true. I grabbed the phone, turned it off, placed it face down. My mom exhaled, relieved. My dad nodded. My brother clapped once like an idiot. We all ignored him, the decision. My dad said, We're leaving tomorrow. My mom nodded. I think we need to go home. And for the first time in days. I agreed. Yeah, I said softly. We should go home. The room went quiet. Not angry quiet. Not disappointed quiet. Just quiet. Everyone drifted into their own corners, doing their own thing. My mom reread her book without actually reading. My dad watched TV without absorbing anything. My brother fell asleep instantly because he has no emotional responsibilities. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking, how did everything get so complicated? And then another thought. How do I start cleaning up the mess? But the biggest realization, this wasn't about choosing between him or them. It was about choosing who I wanted to be when no one was watching. And for the first time, I wasn't sure who that person was. I didn't sleep that night, not because I didn't try. I tried, but every time I closed my eyes, my brain said, Hey, remember how you emotionally detonated in front of your family? Let's replay that in high definition. So yeah, 0.0 sleep, 0.10 out of 10 anxiety, 0.5 out of 5 stars on Yelp, would not recommend. The next morning felt like the day after an apocalypse. Everything was still standing. But nothing felt the same. No one talked at breakfast. My mom stirred her coffee aggressively. My dad read the news like it personally offended him. My brother ate his waffles in complete silence, which was terrifying, because he never shuts up. At one point, he whispered, So are we going to pretend yesterday didn't happen? My mom kicked him under the table. He yelped, Deserved. We finished eating. We packed in silence. We checked out in silence. And the entire ride to the airport. Silence, my friends. It wasn't the peaceful, healing kind of silence. It was the thick, suffocating, funeral-type silence. The only sound was luggage wheels clicking on tile. At the airport, my brother finally broke. This is the worst family trip we've ever had. No arguments there to the flight home where I questioned my entire existence. I sat between my parents, yes, between them, because life likes to bully me personally. My dad stared straight ahead. My mom looked out the window. I looked at my hands like they might reveal instructions on how to fix my life. I kept thinking, how did one text message ruin everything? How did I let it get this far? What is wrong with me? And then, an even worse realization. What am I going to say to Nate? Because I knew the moment I turned my phone back on, his messages would flood in like an emotional tsunami. I wasn't ready. Not for him. Not for my parents. Not for me. Mid-flight, my mom whispered, You scared me. I blinked. What? She didn't look at me. She stared at the clouds. You acted like a stranger. Like someone we didn't know. That's what hurt. My throat tightened. I didn't mean it. I know. She said, But the things we don't mean can still break people. I wiped a tear. I didn't even feel forming. My dad cleared his throat. He didn't look at me either. When we get home, he said, We're talking. Really talking. No running. No secrets. I nodded. I felt 12 years old and 30 at the same time. At home where the real aftermath begins. Stepping into the house felt different, like the place itself knew ID messed up. My brother disappeared into his room. My mom cleaned imaginary dust because she cleans when she's stressed. My dad put his suitcase down and immediately went outside to check the yard, which is dad code for I need to breathe before I lose it. I went in my room, closed the door, sat on my bed, and stared at my phone. It was still powered off. I held it like a bomb, because turning it on meant facing a truth I wasn't ready for. I finally pressed the button. The screen lit up. And then vibration, 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 vibration. Point 12 missed calls. Point 14 texts. Point 3 voice messages, all from Nate. I opened the texts first. Are you okay? Did something happen? Why are you ignoring me? Don't shut me out. I'm worried. Talk to me, please. And then one last message, sent just an hour earlier. If this is your way of breaking up with me, at least let's talk. Did I deserve that? My chest tightened painfully. He deserved answers. He deserved honesty. He didn't deserve to be ghosted because I blew up my entire life. So I did the thing I'd been dreading. I pressed play on the first voice message. His voice came out tired, frustrated, worried. Hey, I don't know what's going on, but I'm freaking out a little. Just call me when you can, okay? Second message. Baby, please, this isn't like you. I feel like something happened. Did your family say something? Third message, the one that hit me hard. Look, if you don't want this anymore, if you're done with me, just say. But don't disappear. I sat there stunned, guilty, heartbroken, afraid, because I knew the truth. He wasn't the villain in this story. He wasn't some manipulative monster. He just didn't know the whole picture. He only knew his side of me, the version I let him see, the version who didn't have parents watching her phone, the version who didn't have a family to disappoint, the version who didn't have to juggle two worlds, the version who wasn't drowning. It wasn't fair to leave him hanging. It wasn't fair to me either. I sat for 10 minutes, breathing, shaking, thinking. Then I typed the text that would change everything. We need to talk. But not tonight. He responded instantly. Tomorrow. My hands shook. Tomorrow. He sent one last message. I'll be here. Just don't shut me out. Please. I put my phone down. And cried, not because ID lost him, not because of the fight, but because for the first time, I realized how tired I was of pretending I could live two lives at the same time. The family talk round 2. That night, my parents called me into the living room, and no yelling, and no accusations, just heaviness. My dad started, we're not doing this halfway. Tomorrow, we sit down. Do you tell us the truth? All of it. My mom added. And we're not here to attack you. We're here to help you stop destroying yourself. That line hit me hard, because that's exactly what I'd been doing. I nodded, tears in my eyes. Okay, but inside I was terrified, because tomorrow I wasn't just going to face Nate, I was going to face my whole truth. And for the first time, I wasn't sure which conversation scared me more. My friends. If you want. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been run over by a psychological bulldozer, eyes swollen, stomach twisted, heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. I had 2 conversations waiting for me. One with my family, one with Nate. And the truth, my friends, I wasn't ready for either. My mom knocked softly on my door around 10. We were making breakfast. She said, no coldness this time, and no sharp tone, just tired warmth. I nodded and forced myself to get up, brush my hair, wash my face, tried not to look like a character in a tragic documentary. When I went downstairs, the energy felt different, not angry, not icy, just careful, like everyone was walking on emotional eggshells. We ate quietly, eggs, toast, fruit, all the things that normally taste like comfort but now tasted like nothing. Then my dad set his fork down. Okay, he said, let's talk. My pulse skyrocketed. We sat in the living room, me on the couch, my mom beside me, my dad in the armchair, my brother pretending he didn't want to hear everything but absolutely listening. My dad folded his hands to tell us the truth. He said the whole truth. And so I did. Not the soft version, not the edited version, not the family-friendly version, the whole thing. How I met Nate, how it started small, how it grew, how I hid it, how I got attached, how I got confused, how I got in way too deep. And hardest of all, how I didn't tell them because I didn't want to see the disappointment in their eyes. My mom reached for my hand halfway through. My dad sighed a lot. My brother stopped smirking and actually looked worried. When I finally finished, my mom said, you were hurting this whole time, and we didn't know that. My voice cracked, and I didn't know how to explain it, and I didn't even understand it myself. That my dad nodded slowly. Just remember, he said, secrets grow teeth, that lies grow faster than you can outrun them. That oof, that dad bar wisdom hits different. Then he asked, what happens next? with him, and I answered the only truth I had. I don't know that my mom squeezed my hand, then go find out the meeting. Nate and I agreed to meet at a small coffee shop that afternoon. Walking in felt like approaching a mirror I'd been avoiding for months. He was already there sitting at a corner table, eyes red, leg bouncing anxiously. When he saw me, he stood up immediately. "You're here," he said, relief flooding his face. I nodded. "Yeah, I'm here." We sat. The silence was thick finally. He leaned forward. "Why did you disappear? Why didn't you tell me what was going on?" I looked down at my hands because everything exploded, I said, and I didn't know how to face any of it. He frowned. "What do you mean?" I took a breath. "My family saw your messages." His eyes widened. "Which ones?" he asked. "And my friends." I didn't have the heart to list the explicit ones. Enough, I said softly. "They saw enough." He buried his face in his hands. "Jesus." "I know," I whispered. He looked up. "Did they freak out?" My mom almost passed out. My dad almost threw my phone into the ocean. My brother laughed for 5 straight minutes. Nate winced. "Okay. Yeah, that sounds bad." I swallowed. It was worse than bad. It destroyed the whole trip. They feel betrayed. They don't trust me right now. He exhaled. Guilt and frustration mixing on his face. "I didn't mean to make things difficult for you." He said. "I know," I replied. "But it wasn't you. It was everything that I was hiding too much. From them. From myself. Even from you." He leaned back, expression softening. "What do you mean from me?" And now, the hardest truth of all. "Nate, you never knew the whole picture." He blinked, confused. "I thought you didn't tell your family because they're strict," he said. "Or because you wanted privacy. That was part of it." But my voice shook. "But there were other things I didn't tell you." He went still, guarded. "Like what?" I swallowed. "Like how long I was hiding this, like how much I was lying to keep things separated, like how I told you I was busy when I was actually with them. Like how I didn't let you meet any part of my real life because I was scared of what that meant." He didn't speak. His jaw clenched. His eyes dimmed. Finally, he whispered, "So I wasn't part of your real life." The words cut deeper than I expected. "That's not it," I said desperately. "You were real. You were important, but I didn't know how to fit you into my world without everything collapsing." And then it collapsed anyway. He stared at the table. I felt shut out. He said quietly, "For weeks, like you were only giving me the version of you that you wanted me to see." He wasn't wrong. I wiped a tear. "I'm sorry. Did I hurt you? Did I hurt them? Did I hurt myself?" And I didn't realize how big the mess was until it exploded in every direction. He ran a hand through his hair. "So what now?" The question hung between us like a live wire. "I don't know," I whispered. "I don't know who I am in this moment. I don't know what I want. I don't know how to choose anything when I don't trust my own judgment." He nodded slowly. "I don't want to pressure you," he said softly. "But I need honesty, real honesty." He looked into my eyes. "Do you want to be with me?" My breath caught. "I care about you." I said it a lot. "But I'm not okay right now. I'm not whole. And if I choose you in this state, it'll be choosing you from a place of fear, not clarity. And that wouldn't be fair to you or to me." He swallowed hard. "So you're ending it." Another deep breath. And pausing it. "If that's even a right word, I need time. Did I need to clean up my life? Did I need to figure out how to be one person again?" He looked away, silent, processing, hurting. When he finally looked back at me, his voice was soft and fragile. "I don't know if I can wait." My heart cracked. "I know," I whispered. We sat there for what felt like an entire lifetime, and neither of us spoke. There was nothing left to say. Finally, he stood up. "I guess this is goodbye for now." "For now," I repeated. He walked away. I didn't chase him. I couldn't. I sat there alone, crying quietly into a cheap coffee cup, realizing this was the first time I wasn't running from consequences, that I was walking straight into them. When I got home from that conversation with Nate, I felt like my body was there, but my spirit was still sitting in that coffee shop, grieving something I didn't know how to define. It wasn't just the end of whatever we were, it was the end of escaping. For months, I'd been surviving on adrenaline, secrecy, and stolen moments, and now everything was out in the open, and I felt naked, raw, exposed, and completely lost. When I walked into the house, my mom was in the kitchen chopping vegetables with the intensity of a woman who processes emotions through soup. My dad was at the table reading the mail, but not really reading. My brother was on the couch pretending not to watch me. My mom looked up. "How did it go?" she asked softly. I shook my head. "We talked." I said. "It was hard." My dad asked, "Is it over?" I hesitated. "Yes and no," I said. "It's paused. I need time. I need to figure myself out." My Parents exchanged a look, not judgmental, not angry, just relieved. Relieved that I wasn't going to keep splitting myself into two. Then my mom put down the knife, wiped her hands, and came over to me. She hugged me, and not the tight kind of hug she gives when she's proud of me, and not the gentle kind she gives when I'm sick. It was the exhausted kind, the kind that says, "I love you, you scared me." But in here that I melted into it to let myself break a little. My dad stood up too. We're not mad anymore. He said, "We're just tired and worried and trying to understand you." That sentence opened a floodgate in me. I'm trying to understand myself too. I said, the slow rebuilding. The next few days were a strange mixture of quiet healing and emotional hangover. My mom kept checking on me without being intrusive. My dad tried to act normal, but I kept catching him looking at me like he was calculating how much therapy I would need. My brother brought me snacks, just in case I forgot to eat, which was his oddly adorable way of saying sorry for laughing at your downfall. Did I turn my phone off for a while, not because I was avoiding Nate, but because I was avoiding the version of myself that kept looking for distraction instead of facing the truth. I started journaling, writing out every thought, every fear, every stupid mistake that led me to this mess. It felt like ripping out emotional splinters one by one. That I also talked to my parents more than I had in months, not about Nate, not about the drama, but about me, who I was, who I wasn't, who I thought I should be, and why I felt the need to hide so much of myself from them. My mom said, "You don't have to be perfect for us. You just have to be honest." That hit hard, because I realized I'd been performing perfection at home while living chaos in private. And no wonder everything collapsed. And no one can hold two versions of themselves forever. The first night, I finally slept. 1 week after the catastrophe, I slept through the night for the first time. That I woke up feeling like I'd been underwater for months and finally surfaced for air. That I made breakfast, simple pancakes, and the whole family sat together like we used to. We didn't talk about the trip. We didn't talk about Nate. We didn't talk about secrets. So we talked about normal things, work, shows we were watching, my brother's terrible dating life. And for the first time in a long time, I felt present, not split, not hiding, just me to the message. A few evenings later, I turned my phone back on. There was one unread message from Nate, sent 4 days earlier. "I hope you're okay." And no pressure, and no desperation, just that I stared at it for a long time. My chest tightened, not from panic, but from something gentler, something like closure. I didn't respond, not because I was angry or done with him, but because, for once in my life, I wasn't running toward distraction when faced with discomfort. I wasn't choosing escape. I was choosing healing. My mom stepped into my room then. "What's on your mind?" she asked. I held up the phone. "Just life, and everything I did wrong, and everything I want to do right now." She sat beside me. "You don't have to fix everything today," she said. "You just have to not make it worse." For the first time, I laughed, a real laugh that fared the shift. Little by little, I started reclaiming pieces of my life. I took long walks by myself. I talked openly with my family. I stopped lying, even tiny lies, even convenient lies. I rewrote parts of myself. I forgave parts of myself. And I faced the parts that needed rebuilding. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't easy. But it was real. And it felt like the first time I had lived as one person. Not two. The final family talk. One night, about 2 weeks after the vacation disaster, my dad called me into the living room. He held a cup of tea. My mom sat beside him. My brother pretended to play a game but was absolutely eavesdropping. My dad said, "We're proud of you." I blinked. Proud of me? For what? Causing a natural disaster in front of innocent beachgoers? He smiled, a small, warm, real smile. "No," he said, "for owning your mistakes, for facing the truth, for choosing honesty, and for not running from the mess you created." My mom squeezed my hand. "You're stronger than you think." And for once, I believed them, the realization. Later that night, lying in bed staring at the ceiling again, but this time peaceful, it hit me. I didn't lose a relationship. I didn't lose a vacation. I didn't lose a version of myself. I shed a version of myself that wasn't sustainable. I didn't need two lives. I just needed one I could actually live in. And for the first time since this entire chaos started, I felt hold up, my friends. We have one part left. I always thought life-changing moments looked dramatic, like thunderstorms breaking open, or violins playing in the background, or some slow-motion cinematic montage. But the real turning point, it came quietly. On a random Wednesday, in my kitchen with my hair messy and my mind finally cleared, I was pouring myself a glass of water when it hit me. Nothing in my life had changed. But I had before the trip. I was living like someone juggling knives fast, anxious, terrified of letting anything fall. But the truth is, I wasn't juggling, that I was hiding from expectations, hiding from judgment, hiding from myself, and the vacation didn't destroy my double life. It exposed the fact that I didn't even know which life I wanted, but now I knew one thing with absolute clarity. I didn't want to go back to the version of myself who needed two lives just to feel whole, that I wanted to be the kind of person who could say what she felt, who didn't live between lies, who didn't split her heart into compartments, who didn't depend on secrecy to feel alive, And I realized something else. Nate wasn't the problem, that my parents weren't the problem, that I wasn't even the problem, that the problem was the silence I lived in, and the silence I created. Point one last message. Weeks later, when things finally felt stable again, Nate sent one last message, short, simple, soft. Hope you're okay. Really, that I didn't cry, that I didn't panic, that I didn't feel torn apart, that I felt gratitude. And I wrote back, not to start something, not to reopen wounds, but to give a truth I owed him. Thank you. I'm good, I'm figuring myself out. And I hope you're doing the same. He sent a heart, and not a romantic one. The kind you send when you understand something without needing more words. And that was it, a clean ending, no cliffhanger, and no secrets, just closure, the real healing. Life didn't magically become perfect after that. Please, this isn't a Hallmark movie, but things got real. My parents and I built trust slowly, brick by brick. Not the old version of trust, the perfect daughter performance, the new version, flawed, honest, transparent. My brother stopped teasing me about the beach disaster, mostly because he was too busy failing at his own relationships. Misery loves company. I kept journaling, I kept talking, that kept unpacking the parts of myself I'd ignored. And eventually, I began to feel like I wasn't two people anymore, not the version my family thought I was, not the version Nate saw, just me, the complicated, emotional, stubborn, recovering disaster of a human being who learned the hard way that secrets don't protect you. They drown you, the lesson I never asked for but absolutely needed. What did that vacation teach me? Not that love hurts, not that families are dramatic, not that phones should stay face down at breakfast, although honestly they should. It taught me something deeper. If you don't choose your life, it will choose for you, usually in the loudest, messiest, most inconvenient way possible. I kept running, avoiding, escaping. But eventually, everything I avoided caught up to me on a sunny beach, with a mimosa in my hand, surrounded by tourists who had no idea they were witnessing the emotional breakdown of the century. And weirdly, I'm glad it happened, because if it hadn't, I might still be living half a life in two different directions, and instead, I'm living one, imperfect, honest, mind. Now, my friends, it's your turn, because let's be honest. You didn't watch this whole emotional roller coaster without relating at least a little. So tell me, have you ever kept a secret that blew up in your face at the worst possible moment? Have you ever lived one version of yourself for your family and another one in private? Or are you the type who thinks you're low-key but would fall apart the minute someone grabbed your phone? Don't lie. I know at least one of you felt personally attacked. Drop it in the comments. My friends, spill the tea, confess, laugh at yourself, cry a little. Therapy is expensive. This comment section is free. And before you go, hit that subscribe, smash that like, and send this video to someone who says I have nothing to hide. Because trust me, they absolutely do. I'll see you in the next story, and yes, my friends, it's going to blow your mind.